Thank you.
Facebook Live. People are joining us for Outnumbered Overtime OT, baby. Yeah, so I'm bringing that up now. Look, your picture is a placeholder. Anthony's picture is a placeholder. And then, so we should just be popping up on Facebook Live right now and then kicking it old school with our live chat on our own page on Outnumbered. Yeah, some big numbers recently with people jumping on both those venues to watch us. And oh, bye. Thank you. We're live, but that's okay. One of our wonderful producers from FBN. Does he work with your show?
Yeah, no, he's helping us on Wall Street Week and Mornings with Maria and all the good stuff. Thanks, Gary.
Bye, Gary.
Bye, Gary.
Oh, he's so sweet. He's like, he sent kisses. He's like, oh, you guys are live? We are. Let's talk a little bit about the president, Hillary Clinton, because I'm seeing a trend here on our page, our chat, our live chat, and their responses to what happened with immigration today. And the Supreme Court reaching a tie, 4-4 vote, and the president saying, hey, if you'd approved my 9th justice, we wouldn't be here. That's a huge legacy point for him that was wiped away.
Yeah,
I do,
thank God.
You know, listen, I do think that, and I do think one of the issues that he's going to have with legacy, if that's what he's focused on, are these executive orders. I do think that the next president, because of the surplus of executive orders by President Obama, is going to have to be more judicious in terms of executing them.
That's not what Trump said, though. Trump actually has talked about the things that he wants to enact are more executive order in nature.
Actually, what Trump has said, both privately and publicly, is that he's really going to try to cut deals and try to get along with people and try to forge a better consensus. I can't wait to see him start to demonstrate how he's going to get along with people during the course of this campaign.
All right, I have one for you off the live chat. Julie Peter Reyes, I think. Forgive me if I didn't say it right.
Julie, you're laughing at your own jokes, though. I know.
I'm not. I'm laughing at you because you're giving me the dirty look.
No, you're delivering the joke and then you're snickering.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing at your reaction because you so want to say something.
You're like your own Ed McMahon for some of our older viewers.
It's great. I know.
Peter, I'm going to get to you in a moment, but isn't this good too? All right, move on.
Anthony
Peter says,
his own joke. Go ahead.
This is for Julie. If all Dems were like you, I would be back in the fold.
Oh, come on back.
However, watching this dog and pony show in Congress reminds me of the first 2 years of the Obama with the Congress that was all Democratic. Why didn't he vote on guns then?
Good question. I suspect, well, for two reasons. One is gun control is not necessarily just a Republican issue. There are Democrats.
No. But the president has made it sound like the worst things in the world have happened. We had shootings before he was president.
He's right. Yeah.
All right, so why didn't he jump on this right after the first one? Because he's had a lot. He had the Oak Creek Mall in Wisconsin. You had James Holmes at the theater in Aurora, Colorado. I mean, you can tick him down.
Well, first and foremost, because of something called the filibuster in the Senate, which I am completely opposed to, but it's impossible to get legislation passed under any circumstances these days, especially something as contentious as this. And don't forget, there are Democrats out there from states that don't want to see any of this take place either. It's not just a Republican issue. I would say...
Where are they?
Well, some of them are still voting with the Republicans. Some of them have come around. There are some Republicans who are starting to come around. Susan Collins has a very modest piece of legislation on this issue in the Senate that unfortunately I don't think is going to go anywhere because of members of her own party. But, you know, we've gotten to the point now where you can't say after every single shooting, and there's one every day, that we can't talk about this because it's somehow taking advantage of a tragedy. There's tragedies happening every single day when it comes to mass shootings.
You know what? That actually is a point that is feasible on this issue. The point that is not is that you're talking about it now because it does not actually apply with what happened in Orlando.
No, it doesn't. Because there were gun laws in place and people were following those gun laws and they're dead now.
Yeah, so. I mean, this guy bought his guns
legally.
He took his wife, apparently, according to the FBI, with him to go buy ammo. I mean, he did a lot of this.
Following the gun law. It was a no-carry zone, so they couldn't have guns.
But here's a question I have about the no-fly list, because we got into this off camera. I think good people would agree that they need to come up with a way to assure how you get on the no-fly list and make it legitimate. Right. Because right now, I mean, you were talking about Representative Lewis was on the flight. Yeah, I mean, so
it's arbitrary.
It's arbitrary. And if you're on it, how do you fight to get off of it? So on and so forth.
Very flawed.
I think they have an appeals process.
Right.
But that's what people worry about. And people who are distrustful of government in its totality
worry. More laws are not going to stop bad guys from getting guns. Yeah. It's just going to stop good guys from getting guns.
I just want to ask Julie a question because, you know, for me, being a Second Amendment rights person, when somebody says to me that people kill people and guns don't, the response from the gun control community is what exactly?
Well, in that case, why do we have laws of any kind to make anything safer? You know, cars, we have, listen, when cars became something that were starting to kill people, we put mechanisms into place to make cars safer, right? When we started, you're right. Your rights are not.
You're off the argument a little bit. I understand that analogy a little, but it's not exactly like a car. I mean, at the end of the day, a car, you can get into an accident, and there can be gun accidents, but this was a murderous person that was decrying jihad when he shot these innocent people. And so how could the gun control laws have stopped that?
However, more gun control, that's one example. Listen, if somebody's committed to committing murder, they're going to find a way to do it. But if you're taking your argument, why have laws at all? If I'm constrained, if I'm not constrained by laws at all, then I'm not going to be constrained by laws.
So listen, I'm
my point is,
I'm a pretty balanced and objective guy, and I'm on a fair and balanced channel. So I just want to say to you guys need help on this argument.
It's not a help thing.
You got to come up with something better than that.
It's not that.
That's where the tension is.
No. But Anthony, let's put it this way.
You're right.
If I'm determined to rob a bank, right? I'm going to rob a bank, or I'm going to try to rob a bank. So what you're telling me right now is why have any laws against robbing banks? If you're really determined to rob a bank, you're going to rob a bank.
What's happening is you're moving so far away from the actual argument by bringing up, okay, let's go to a lawless society.
That's not.
You're missing
but that's
the point.
What you're saying. What's the point?
No, there is a point. There's a point is that there are unlawful people and there are lawful people.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, the Second Amendment is providing for people that are lawful to have guns. The unlawful people are going to get them anyway.
That's right.
So have no laws at all?
Perfect.
I want to just
say that.
For Democrats, the argument I always think the Democrats should make, I support background checks, so I side with a lot of Democrats on that issue. But is that if you're doing nothing wrong,
most gun owners
let JB
want a background check.
Let her finish.
Well, a lot. I can't tell you how many people come back and have backlash against background checks, saying my Second Amendment rights shouldn't have restrictions. But if you're doing nothing wrong, if you're not doing anything wrong and you seek to do nothing wrong, you won't be bothered by a background check. And they should also say that just because this particular incident, this particular shooting wouldn't have been prevented by looking at, denying people arms that are on no-fly list. That doesn't mean that there won't be an instance that will rise up that won't be prevented by that. So let's put measures in place, and this is what I stand for as well, let's put measures in place that don't inhibit the rights of people who want to, hold on to their Second Amendment, but also keep some of the bad guys out. And it will. There are some people that will be dissuaded from going to such great measures, or it will, I guarantee you, laws do dissuade bad people from doing bad things.
If they know that there are good guys there, if they know that there are people there that can have a gun and shoot them, that's when they'll stop.
Yeah.
When they know that there are good guys around that can have a gun.
Right. That's why you have to protect people's rights as well.
Oh, my goodness.
I actually think Donald Trump, it would be a Nixon going to China moment for him with the gun control.
He should do it.
So what should he do?
No, I think when he is president of the United States, you are going to get a consensus on this thing that will actually.
What do you think it would look like? I mean, you're working with this campaign now. What would it look like?
In my opinion, I'm not close enough to that specific policy. I'm more focused on the economics.
But you've talked with him.
But I do think it'll look a little bit like what John Howard did. Now, some of the people are lighting me up on Twitter about that. But at the end of the day, you just want to reduce the number of crazy people that have guns and give everybody else the right to have.
Well, why won't he say that now then? Why is he?
Because he can't.
Why not?
He tweeted out that he's going to work with the NRA on the no-fly list. He did.
The NRA backed him.
The NRA slapped him down when he said.
The NRA backed him.
The NRA slapped him down after they backed him. The NRA slapped him down.
He has his interests, and that's what politics is all about. That's the sausage that's being made.
I get how the sausage is made. You want to show leadership? Show it.
When he's president, he'll get. You guys are having a tough time showing leadership on your side as well.
Yeah.
Anthony, can I ask you a quick question that I get all the time about Donald Trump?
Sure.
People say to me, you know what? He's playing the game right now to get all of these hard right voters. But once this guy wins, if he does, he's going to be very moderate on a lot of issues. And he's going to shift on immigration. He's going to be a lot more moderate than you realize on gun control. Do you think there's any truth to that?
Well, here's what I do think, is I've spent a lot of time with him, been flying around on his plane with him. He is a very analytical, has a tremendous sense of depth on a lot of these issues. I think that his critics are saying that he's too superficial from the stump. and we can argue that or not argue that, but he has created a political movement. Secretary Clinton does not have a political movement on her side, and so it'll be very interesting.
No, but Bernie does.
Bernie does. So we'll have to be very interested to see if that wave will take him into the presidency. If it does, Donald Trump wrote a book called The Art of the Deal, so he'll be making deals as the president of the United States. Ronald Reagan once said, I'm never going to get 100%. But I'm going to focus myself on getting 80 and forging a consensus. Those are typically the people that make the best presidents.
Do you think? Do you personally think it's good for our country, for Donald Trump, and for the money that it would take to deport 11 million people? And how do you think he's going to be able to do it?
Okay, so remember everything that Donald Trump has said up until now, and he has said this repeatedly on Sunday shows, evening news, and so forth. These are starting positions, okay, that he recognizes have to be negotiated with a Democratic constituency and a Republican constituency in the Congress.
And he plans on getting along with everyone.
In fact, I want to jump on that for just a second,
go ahead.
Because that is something that we have seen time and time again. The mainstream media jump on people and say you flip-flopped. But if more politicians, and in Donald Trump's case, if more people who want to run for office, because he doesn't consider himself a politician, would actually acknowledge that it's a work in progress, people might not be in the place where they distrust so much.
That's why he gets so much verbal latitude from his supporters. That's why he has so much.
Right, he is, but so many others aren't. I want to get this in real quickly because we gotta wrap. First of all, they loved having you here, being able to talk about the money issue.
Oh, thank you.
Manny Christensen, hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a gun issue. This is to her or him a religious issue that nobody wants to address. Hi, Miss Bila. We have to go, but I wanted to get that in there because that's been one of the things that Speaker Ryan and others have said, that we need to get back to the issue that's driving this. And many of them point to radicalized Islamism, so on and so forth. But the guns discussion does not get you there in this particular instance. And that truly is why a lot of people are back and forth on why we're even doing this on the House floor.
Right.
So
because there are crimes happening every single day with guns that are unrelated to this.
But this was a terrorist.
But you have a chance any other day to pick up on it.
Yeah.
Right? All right, we're going to go. Anthony, good to have you.
Thank you so much.
Stacey, we'll see you back tomorrow.
Appreciate it.